Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A good morning to you all. Back to us with CR4P Recall. My name is Nasuga Nusfa, the Environment Stewardess. Stay with us. Let us learn more about our environment, still on our theme, saving the environment for future generations. Today we're going to break down what the environment is and some of its components. Do we really understand what the environment is, who we are to the environment, and what the environment is to us? Let's tune in with the first component. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A good morning to you all. Nice to be meeting you back. We're going to interact again. You are most welcome to CR4P Recall with your environment stewardess, Nasuga Nusfa. We're going to understand more about what the environment is, what are the components of the environment, who we are to it, and what the environment is to us. In understanding the environment, we're looking at the different components that support the living organisms, its growth. We look at its development, its behavior, its survival, and how it interacts with other components in the world. We look at the natural perspective, we look at the physical perspective, it has the biological perspective, as well as the human-made components. In understanding the environment, we have different components of itself. The interrelatedness between the human perspective, between the living organism's perspective, and the other components of the environment gives world a meaning. It makes a better world to live. Stay tuned in, we understand the components of the environment. We are back with breaking the components of the environment. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel. One, we have the abiotic environment, what we call the physical or the non-living environment. This does not have life, but keeps supporting the human life or the living organism's life to live. In it, we have what we call the atmosphere, the composition of different gases that is always interacting with the most outer part or the most nearest level of the earth. In this, we look at the different gases such as nitrogen, we look at oxygen, we look at neon, we look at argon, among others, as well as carbon dioxide that is well known to most of us. They are very essential in understanding our perspective as humans. Why? They support our breath. When we are interacting with the atmosphere, we are looking at those components that really help us to regulate the atmospheric heat. We're looking at those perspectives that help and support the growth of different plants, especially when we talk of carbon dioxide. The second component, under the abiotic environment, we have what we call the hydrosphere. Here we're coming with water. All the different sources of water, be the rivers, the lakes, the oceans, mention it. They support our lives as living organisms. They support the plants. They support a number of things surrounding us, and therefore we need to work hand in hand to see that the hydrosphere is in good shape. Still under the abiotic, we also have what we call the lithosphere. And now we're looking at the most outer layer of the earth. That is where we look at the soil, we look at the rocks, as well as different mineral resources that we interact with. Taking us back to our definition, this interrelatedness keeps the living organisms as well as the different components of the environment to keep the economic, political, as well as the social interrelatedness of the human being in life. Lastly, under abiotic environment, we have what we call the climate and the weather. It is non-tangible. The climate we're speaking of is always determined after a given period of time, and then the weather itself is the shortest period of time that determines how the different weather changes and how the different components interact with the human life. For example, we have the rainfalls, we have sunshine itself, and these are very vital in the sustainability of the human life. Stay tuned in, we're coming back with the second component of the environment.